So a little while back, I looked at Lyte gaming PCs to see if they were a good value. And in that video, I said this: I would love to get my hands on a PC. If you're from Lyte and you're watching this, feel free to send me a PC. I would love to take a look. So with that throwaway line out of the way, I just went about my normal life until Lyte actually reached out to me. And when offering a gaming PC to review, I couldn't say no. So here we are taking a look at Lyte gaming PCs to see a hands-on, is the quality there, is the gaming performance there, and what overall do we think about this PC builder that, frankly, before I saw a Facebook ad, I'd never even heard of. Now, Lyte sent out the Zetta PC V2, which for $1,238 as of the filming. You get a Ryzen 5 5600, you get 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory. Now, mine was a 3600 megahertz kit, not the 3200 megahertz advertised kit, though I had to enable the DOCP profile myself in the BIOS. It is a 2x8 gigabyte kit, so it is a dual channel kit. You do get an RTX 3060 Ti, a 1 terabyte NVMe drive, a B550 motherboard, though mine was an Asus Prime B550 motherboard, not a gigabyte motherboard. Likewise, I did get the 750 watt power supply, though it was a Gamdius power supply and not a gigabyte power supply. Once again, it looks like they may be swapping out components here, as some components will be a little bit cheaper, but the specs are still correct in that you're still getting the 750 watt power supply. The stock cooler, that is correct, though it does have a little Lyte sticker on it. You do get the Gamdius case, which is actually a really solid case. I'm really happy they went with this particular case because it has fantastic airflow out of the box. And Windows 11 was installed, though it is not activated. You can pay an activation fee. I would highly recommend not. And then if you really want your Windows activated, you can always just do that on your own through a third-party seller and save a lot of money instead of paying roughly $100 for a license here. So for the unboxing experience here, first off, it is a double boxed PC, which is really fantastic to see. Not all PC makers do this. Within the first box, which is branded Lyte gaming PCs, the second box is just the reused case box. And you see as I go through here, there's some documentation that's just right on top there and easy to get to when you first open up the PC. Now, once you dump out the PC, you'll notice that the inner box, the Gamdius case box, has some really nice soft foam that's going to help protect this PC, so good job there. The tape here, I'm not sure whether that was Gamdius or whether that was Lyte Technologies with the gaming PC build, but that holds on the dust filter. Probably, honestly, just the case manufacturer. And then here inside of the PC itself, you'll notice that Lyte put a nice little quick start guide in there, so you can't really mess this up, provided that you look at the side panel. It tells you everything you need to do to get the PC from being packed to actually having it ready to play games on. And then inside the chassis itself, Lyte also doesn't skimp out on the packing here. They use the not inexpensive foam that forms up to whatever it's put inside of. So that's really great to see because that's going to do a great job of supporting all the major components, but especially the graphics card, which is particularly prone to being broken during shipping. So just overall, this was a really good unboxing, and there was absolutely no damage whatsoever. The first boot of the system went absolutely perfectly here. Now you see me turning on the monitor. It doesn't like to detect HDMI signals all the time, but once the monitor is woken up, the PC is booting up just fine and goes right into the operating system, which is Windows 11. No problems at all. In fact, it was actually quite a quick first boot. And then I went to check the bloatware on this PC. Now on the desktop, there's a couple of hardware monitoring apps that Lyte uses, and they're there for your use. They're actually legitimately useful apps, as well as the GeForce experience in case you're into doing things with that. But beyond those apps, there's really no bloatware, and that's one of the big upsides to going with these smaller system builders that use standardized components. A lot of the time, you don't get the same bloatware you get with HP or Dell. So physically, the PC was virtually perfect. The one thing that Lyte kind of missed on here was not enabling the DOCP profile for the RAM. So the RAM was running at 2400 megahertz, but this was a 3600 megahertz kit. Now, to their credit, that was actually a small upgrade over the advertised 3200 megahertz kit the PC is supposed to ship with. However, because it was not enabled, and because, in my view, a lot of buyers probably won't even think to actually check that, I tested the PC with its out-of-box setting. So with the gameplay section, just understand, you actually would see a little bit of a gameplay uplift in frame rates by enabling that profile with your RAM, though it won't be a complete game changer, but there are some frames being left on the table. So a little bit of a negative there on the quality control of Lyte, making sure that that RAM profile is enabled out of the box. And with the PC undamaged and clearly working, let's look at the cable management, and yeah, I actually have virtually nothing bad to say about the cable management. Maybe the rear case fan could be managed just slightly better than it was, but beyond that, the cable management is excellent, but especially on the back side of the motherboard tray, holy cow. Whoever built this was meticulous and did a fantastic job with that. And with all the pre-testing checks out of the way and completed with all systems go, it was time to jump into some games and see how this roughly $1,200 gaming PC performs. So Lyte gaming PCs. Overall, really solid build. The part selection I think made a lot of sense. The upcharge on components is not huge, though it is there depending on the component. A couple things that I would recommend for Lyte to do. If you're gonna be swapping out components and using ones that may be a little bit more inexpensive or just to replace components, like instead of saying a Gigabyte 750 watt power supply, just say a 750 watt power supply. I don't think most people are gonna mind if they order a gaming PC, you said Gigabyte B550 and an Asus B550 motherboard showed up, but at the same time, you want to be as transparent as possible, which actually Lyte is quite transparent with their pricing, so maybe be a little bit less specific about the exact components if you're planning to be swapping those out. Aside from that, the only quality control thing I ran across at all in my entire testing was that the RAM just wasn't, the profile rather, wasn't enabled in the BIOS, the DOCP profile, or XMP if you're an Intel person. And fortunately, that's an easy one because the user can just hop into the BIOS. It's a couple of clicks and you're off to the races. The user just has to be aware that's something that A, they can do, and B, they should do, because it does actually affect performance just a little bit. And of course, that's game dependent, but you are leaving a little bit of performance on the table if you don't have that enabled. But beyond that, pricing seems fair, build quality was excellent, the shipping materials used were good, double boxed, which is what you love to see. The system showed up in perfect condition. So beyond those small complaints, I would recommend Lyte gaming PCs for anyone out there that's looking to buy a system that they can upgrade indefinitely down the road, or at least with some components, you know, maintaining a power supply, maintaining the case moving forward. If you're just looking to get up and running with an upgradable system, Lyte gaming PCs should absolutely be on your radar. So for those of you out there that actually own a Lyte gaming PC, let us know in the comments down below what your experience with them was, and I will link their website down below in case you want to check out the other gaming PCs available through Lyte. But with all that said, like, share, subscribe if you want more of the content, and I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I will see all of you in the next video.